Hi, good morning. So one of the first things I do when a couple comes in the office, I ask them to create a relationship vision. You know, if things worked out just the way they want it, what would it look like? And even couples that are fairly conflicted, they know what they want. So I ask them to write statements beginning with we, and I have them write in the present tense. Even though it's a future, it's a goal to be achieved, but in the future tense, and then positive. You're always training each other and yourself what to do as opposed to what not to do. So then that becomes their vision. Then I ask them to, and you know, each one writes their own vision, and often, always actually, couples often say very similar things, but in different words maybe. So then I ask them to combine their two visions and make a good copy and put it up where they can read it every day. Because it really is a way to reprogram their unconscious. So if every day I'm reading, we are great friends, we are great friends, we are great friends, and then they don't act like great friends, you know, what's going on? You're not achieving what you actually wrote. And in the past, that's sort of where I left it. Now, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, as some of you have already told me, but more recently, I've moved that relationship vision up to sort of the head of the class, so to speak. Because think about it, it really becomes the agenda of our work together. They created the vision. Okay, here's what we want. My job then becomes to hold their feet to the fire and say, okay, what are you doing to create that? Because if you don't do anything different, nothing's going to change. And, you know, years ago, Alfred Adler coined the phrase, it's not what you possess, it's how you use it. And I've always used the example of Terry Fox, a young man loses leg to cancer and decides to run across Canada to raise money for cancer research. That was 40 years ago. And I think the Terry Fox Marathon of Hope Foundation has now raised something like $80 million, you know, for cancer research. Another young fellow could lose a leg and say, you know, life's not fair. They both possess the same thing, use it quite differently. And just like Terry Fox couldn't do anything about the loss of the leg or the cancer, the couple in front of me can't do anything about what has happened to date. They can't. But what they decide to do from here forward, they have more choice. So the relationship vision sort of becomes their goal. Just like Terry Fox's goal was to run across Canada. So the goal of the couple becomes their relationship vision. Now my job then is to hold them accountable. So what'd you do this week to get there? And it shifts the relationship vision from just being sort of an ideal or a dream to a more realistic agenda. So for example, they might have, we communicate better. Well, that becomes, we use the dialogue process 2 times last week. Or we are happy. That becomes, well, we went on a date night last week. Or we are great parents. And so rather than just leave it at that generally, well, we started reading Giving the Love That Heals, a guide for couples, or Children the Challenge. We read something about parenting. So I'm starting to really use their relationship vision. It's theirs. I didn't create it, they did. Okay, so now what are you doing to get there? And you know, I've been doing this for 30 years, and all of a sudden, you know, the light went on. I said, this is very cool. This works. So their relationship vision then becomes part of the agenda of our time together. Now, reading the book, Getting the Love You Want, a guide for couples, is also part of that agenda, for sure, because it gives couples a bigger vision of what they really want, but holding a couple accountable to what they themselves have written in their relationship vision challenges them to be a bit more proactive, because I can check on them every day or every week, you know. So you say you want to be happy, well, what did you do? We want to be better communicators, what did you do? Okay, anyway, have a great week, and I hope you all had a good Easter, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.